I make pottery to survive, not just financially, but mentally. Yep, I use pottery as a means of coping. And that might sound really intense, but it's the truth, and I'm going to explain a bit about why that is. I think people who professionally gravitate towards pottery and stick with it long term all have a bit of this type of relationship to pottery, or really to anything, but at some point it becomes something you need to do. And for me, it became something I needed to do when I started to process a lot of my grief about my childhood, about really significant deaths that occurred in my childhood. And honestly, that pain felt really unbearable to just keep going with and to not. I was in therapy, but to be honest, I had like a visceral grief in my body, and that had to be externalized. And to be honest, I found nothing else that helps me so viscerally than pottery does. It gives me a place for my mind to focus, and that feels safe, like something I can focus on, some skill that I can go deeper in, and it's just endless. And in that, I can also focus on this tiny little wedge of clay that I can perfectly mold and perfectly sculpt and take my time with, and kind of this sacred process of sort of distraction, but at the same time, it's bringing me back to what's important, which is healing my grief and figuring out a channel to put my pain. And that's really what pottery has become, is just a channel to put my pain. And I can't really explain it other than the fact that I do this when I don't know what else to do. When my brain fails me on how to heal, this is all that I can do. And I'm not the best potter in the world. I'm growing and learning always, but I know that I have to do this, that I literally cannot do anything else. Pottery means and gives things to me more than I can honestly put into words. It's a safe space for ritual, for play, for exploration, and for slightly danger. I know that sounds silly, but when you're on the wheel and trying something new or going out of your comfort zone, it's like such a safe environment to explore. And to me, it's just become a world so separate from my own and the pain of the reality of the world that it's just become such a healing, safe place for me. And if you relate to this, if you feel the same way or have a similar relationship with clay, let me know. It feels lonely out here sometimes when people don't know how to articulate or don't talk about the beauty and sacredness of this craft. It's way more feeling and healing than people make it out to be sometimes. And that's not through any fault of their own. It's just sometimes it's hard to put it into words. So if you feel that way, let me know.